Dave Shapiro, The Sound of Passion. Early years and musical roots. Dave Shapiro was born on January 10th, 1983, in Homer, Alaska, a remote town defined by icy winds, small communities, and the boundless beauty of rugged wilderness. From the very beginning, Dave's life would be one of contrasts. While the world around him moved slowly, cocooned by snow-capped mountains and ocean tides, Dave's spirit was restless. He was curious, bold, and endlessly drawn to the noise and rhythm of life, especially music. By the time he was a teenager, his family had moved to Albany, New York. There, in the suburban folds of Bethlehem Central High School, Dave's love for music exploded into purpose. He wasn't just a kid with a stereo or mixtapes. He wanted to live it, breathe it, and shape it. In middle school, Dave formed a band with three of his closest friends, Chris Kasargian, Clark Foley, and Adam Manning. They were just kids playing covers in basements, but the connection was electric. They practiced tirelessly, evolving from awkward garage sessions into a band that genuinely had something to say. Eventually, they named themselves Count the Stars, a title that, like Dave's life, would hint at ambitions far beyond the everyday. Their sound was pop-punk with a streak of emotional rawness, reminiscent of early 2000s bands but tinged with something more sincere. The band began playing in local clubs, VFW halls, and community centers, rapidly building a loyal fan base. It was DIY, loud, and chaotic, but it worked. The East Coast punk scene was fertile ground, and Count the Stars started getting noticed. They signed with Victory Records, a prominent independent label at the time, and toured across the U.S., sharing stages with acts like Fall Out Boy and Sum 41. For Dave, it was a dream in motion, a validation of all the hours spent writing lyrics and booking gigs. But the road wasn't always kind. A devastating van crash while on tour shook the band to its core. While they survived, the incident left deep emotional and physical scars. Soon after, Count the Stars disbanded. For many musicians, that could have marked the end. But for Dave, it was just the beginning of a new chapter. From touring artist to talent agent. When Count the Stars disbanded, Dave Shapiro stood at crossroads. Many young musicians would have drifted into obscurity or clung to the remnants of their youth. But not Dave. While he had lost the spotlight, he had not lost the fire. What he had discovered in those years on tour, beyond screaming crowds and van rides, was a deep fascination with the mechanics of the music industry itself. He realized he didn't need to be on stage to shape the future of music. He could do it from behind the curtain. Dave moved west, eventually landing in Los Angeles, where the heart of the music industry beat loudest. His entry into the business wasn't glamorous. He started at the ground level, working long hours and doing the thankless tasks most people ignored. But he was relentless, and he was sharp. He understood artists because he had been one. He understood risk because he had lived it. Soon, he joined the agency group, one of the most influential talent booking agencies in the world. There, Dave learned the art and science of talent representation. Unlike others chasing commissions, Dave focused on relationships. He wasn't just booking shows, he was building careers. Bands trusted him. He spoke their language, knew their struggles, and offered them something rare in the industry: honesty. He didn't inflate expectations or sugarcoat reality. He built trust by delivering time and again. He eventually became a senior agent and moved to United Talent Agency, UTA, after the agency group was acquired. But something about the corporate environment fell off. Dave wanted something more independent, more authentic, and more aligned with the punk rock roots that raised him. In 2018, he made the boldest move of his career. Together with fellow industry veterans Tim Borer and Matt Anderson, Dave co-founded Sound Talent Group, STG, a fiercely independent talent agency rooted in community, transparency, and artistic freedom. While major agencies consolidated, STG championed individuality. In the beginning, it was a gamble. Could a small agency compete with the corporate giants? Dave believed it could, and he was right. Within just a few years, STG exploded in influence. The agency represented over 400 artists, including iconic names like Sum 41, Pierce the Veil, Parkway Drive, Vanessa Carlton, and Hanson. The roster was eclectic but united by a common thread: artists who were passionate, raw, and ready to tour the world. Dave Shapiro wasn't just an agent. He was a mentor, a strategist, and a friend. He fought for his artists like he was still in a van with them, driving from city to city, chasing dreams with duct tape gear and half a tank of gas. But Dave wasn't done building. The entrepreneur and the pilot. As Sound Talent Group, STG, took off, so did Dave Shapiro's vision for a more holistic, artist-first approach to the music industry. He wasn't content just booking shows. He wanted to build platforms. He started mentoring younger agents, providing tools and insights many never receive from larger corporate firms. For Dave, this wasn't just business. It was a legacy in the making. His commitment to growth extended beyond the agency. Dave was involved in partnerships with music festivals, artist-run brands, and cutting-edge live event productions. He stayed ahead of industry trends, advocating for fair treatment of artists and exploring new ways to monetize touring amid changing economic landscapes. His forward-thinking nature helped many acts transition from small venues to global tours. But Dave's life wasn't only about music. Away from the roar of the crowd and the flash of backstage passes, he found peace in the skies. Dave had long been fascinated by flying. The precision, the calm, the control, it all contrasted with the chaos of the music world. He earned his pilot's license and purchased his own aircraft, flying frequently for both personal relaxation and business travel. For him, the cockpit offered clarity. It was a space where he could disconnect from constant emails and calls and reconnect with his inner stillness. Flying became his therapy. His social media occasionally featured photos of sunrises from the clouds and cockpits pointed toward new horizons. Friends recalled how he described flying not just as a hobby, but as a metaphor, proof that with the right knowledge and preparation, even the most turbulent skies could be navigated. Dave's life was full. He balanced spreadsheets with sound checks, business deals with backstage hugs. He was just as comfortable negotiating with a record label executive as he was chatting with a teenage band trying to book their first tour. And no matter how high he climbed, on the charts or in the air, he never looked down on anyone. Loss, legacy, and a life that touched thousands. By 2025, Dave Shapiro had not only solidified his place in the music world, but had also crafted a reputation as an advocate for independent artists and a visionary in the entertainment industry. He had built Sound Talent Group, STG, into one of the leading independent agencies, earning respect from artists and colleagues alike. Yet, despite his immense success, Dave remained humble and grounded, an advocate for those who hadn't yet made it big and a mentor to those who did. His passion for supporting independent artists wasn't just about business. It was personal. Dave had been there, on the road, scraping together every penny, sleeping on floors, and playing to crowds that barely knew who they were. He never forgot what it felt like to be that kid trying to get a break. And he was dedicated to making sure that other musicians wouldn't have to face the same obstacles. His personal mission was clear: to ensure that hardworking, genuine artists could thrive, even in an industry known for its exploitation. Outside of work, Dave's life was marked by an unwavering love for his wife, Julia Pollock, and his deep connection to the natural world. In 2016, they tied the knot in a ceremony unlike any other, married atop a glacier in Denali National Park, Alaska. It was a symbol of Dave's love for adventure, for nature, and for the woman who had stood by him through every twist and turn of his high-octane life. Together, they shared a love for travel, extreme sports, and the outdoors, living in both San Diego and Homer, Alaska, where they often indulged in activities like base jumping and glacier landings. Though Dave's professional life was a whirlwind of meetings, tours, and festivals, he always found time for those who mattered most: his family, friends, and the artists he served. His leadership at STG wasn't just a job, it was a calling. He led with the heart of a musician and the mind of an entrepreneur. His friends, colleagues, and even competitors spoke of his unique ability to inspire others while fostering an environment of trust and support. For many, Dave wasn't just their agent. He was their sounding board, their protector, and sometimes their lifeline. But it was on May 22nd, 2025, that Dave's life took a tragic turn. The crash and the aftermath. On that fateful day, Dave was aboard a Cessna 550 private jet, flying from San Diego, where he had been attending to business matters, back to the family's home in Alaska. The aircraft, which had recently experienced some mechanical issues, was making its final approach when disaster struck. The plane crashed in the Tucson neighborhood of San Diego, killing Dave, along with two of his colleagues from Sound Talent Group and others on board. The news hit the music community like a wave. Social media lit up with tributes as fans, artists, and friends poured their hearts out in memory of Dave's incredible impact. He had been more than just a figure in the industry. He had been a mentor, a supporter, and a bridge between the corporate world of music and the gritty DIY ethos that so many of the artists he represented held dear. His passing was an irreplaceable loss. The cause of the crash remained under investigation, with early reports suggesting that non-functional airport equipment may have played a role in the accident. But for those who knew Dave, the details didn't matter as much as the void left in his absence. In his death, the world had lost someone who truly cared, not just about the bottom line, but about the people who helped make the music that changed lives. Legacy in motion. What Dave leaves behind. Dave Shapiro's passing wasn't just the end of a life. It was the passing of a torch. Though he left this world tragically and far too soon, his legacy lives on in the hundreds of artists he empowered, the industry standards he helped reshape, and the values he instilled in those who worked alongside him. At Sound Talent Group, Dave had not just built a company, he had cultivated a family. In the days following the crash, colleagues and artists gathered not in despair, but in tribute. Memorial shows were planned, tributes were sung, and stories were shared. Each one a testament to Dave's generosity, sharp mind, and relentless work ethic. Artists from all corners of the globe, from punk to metalcore, from indie folk to alternative, shared how Dave had been the first to believe in them, to take their calls, to help them through crises when no one else would. To many, he wasn't just a booking agent. He was a mentor, a strategist, and above all, a friend. Dave also left behind an enduring belief that independence and integrity could coexist in an industry so often ruled by contracts and compromise. At STG, his philosophy of artist-first representation lives on. The agents he trained, mentored, and inspired continue to uphold his vision, not out of obligation, but because they too believe in it. Dave's model of ethical, personal, and passionate representation set a new bar, and now it stands as his legacy. On a personal level, Dave is survived by his wife Julia, with whom he shared a powerful love and a fearless zest for life. Their adventures, whether base jumping, glacier trekking, or simply flying above the Alaskan wilderness, paint a picture of a couple that didn't just live, but truly thrive together. In every photo of them, there's a sense of freedom, of curiosity, and of deep trust, elements that define not just their marriage but Dave's worldview. Even as tributes poured in from music icons and industry veterans, the most touching came from up-and-coming artists, young bands that Dave had taken a chance on, helped land their first tour, or simply encouraged when no one else would. His life had been one long tour, city to city, stage to stage, not as a performer anymore, but as someone who helped others shine. And perhaps that was Dave's greatest gift. He created stages for others to stand on. Whether it was through STG, through personal mentorship, or just by showing up when it mattered, Dave empowered a generation of artists and agents to believe in themselves, to fight for authenticity, and to never settle. Today, his legacy continues in every sold-out show booked by STG, every new artist getting their first tour, and every fan who discovers a band that might never have had a chance if it weren't for Dave. He may no longer be flying overhead or standing at the side of a stage, but his presence, his fire, his ethics, his heart, echoes in venues, tour buses, and studios across the world. Dave Shapiro didn't just book music. He built a movement,